Okay, we are on the other side of 39 right now, and I figured out a couple of things. First thing is, I'm really quick going to show you how to solve that problem. You do not need to write this down in your notebook. This is just, if you want to write it down, you can totally write it down in your notebook here. But some of you will probably want to see this, and some of you are like, yeah, whatever, I don't need to know. So when we know that it's 64 ounces of milk left, and we're trying to figure out what X is, the thing you need to know is that we want to get the variable by itself, and in order to do that, we need to get rid of first the constant, anything that's not attached to the variable, and then we get rid of what's attached to the variable, which is the 8. So we have 128 here, so we're going to subtract 128 from both sides, and you're already like, what in the heck is going on? Negative 64 equals negative 8x, because this minus sign doesn't go away just because we got rid of the 128. I know, this is a disaster. Okay, so we need to get rid of that 8. We need to do the inverse. This is times negative 8. We need to divide by negative 8. And negative 64 divided by negative 8. If you do it on your calculator, you'll see that a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it would be 8 equals X. So there would have been 8 cups poured. And if that all went way over your head, that is okay. That is not 6th grade math that I just accidentally stumbled us into, because when I looked at why was that problem in there if the kids can't really do it yet, it's because you need to be able to check a solution. So you don't have to find the answer. You just have to be able to say, does this set of numbers make a 2-variable equation true? So let's go back to our milk equation, which was m equals 128 minus 8x. So the independent variable, and I apologize, we're going to keep flipping back and forth. The independent variable is always x. The dependent variable is always y. And we're saying that because solutions are going to come in the form of ordered pairs where it's x comma y. And there's a reason for that, but just bear with me. So this m, yes, we're using m to represent it, but it's going to be in the y spot. It's going to be right here when we do an ordered pair. So let's check the one we just did, which was if you poured 8 cups, you'd have 64 cups left over. So this is what would go in for x, the number of cups. This is what would go in for m, the number or the amount of milk left. So we plug it in and see if it works, because we're not sure if it will. So we put in 64 for m equals 128 minus 8 times, we put in 8 for x. All right? Now, order of operations. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Yikes. Okay. I got too excited about order of operations. Uh-oh. Now I really did it. Whoops. Okay. Come on, ImageMate. Okay. I'm getting excited about order of operations because you have to remember you do parentheses first. Nope. Exponents. Nope. Multiplication or division. Aha, we do have that to do. We need to do 8 times 8, which equals 64. So I rewrite the equation after every step. We've talked about this with order of operations, but now we're throwing in algebra. So rewrite after every step. Smiley face. Okay, Now I don't have any more multiplication or division left, so I do addition or subtraction. Yes, I sure do have addition or subtraction. I need to subtract. So 128 minus 64 is, in fact, 64. So I want to get so that I have the same number on both sides of the equal sign. If I end up with the same number, that means it is true, right? 64 is the same as 64, which means this is a solution. Blank, comma, blank is a solution. Okay, let's stick with the same equation. We're going to check another solution. So let's say we're checking out 2 comma 30. So this would be 2 cups. After 2 cups of milk, there are 30 ounces of milk left in the jug. So we're going to plug these numbers in and try. So I always start by rewriting the equation without any of those replacement values in it. Then I get to replacing. This is important because if I make a mistake in where to put these values in, it's going to be really hard to find. But if I just do the simple step of writing out the equation and then replacing the variables, that mistake will be so much easier to find if I make it. Okay, so instead of m, we're putting in 30. And instead of x, we're putting in 2. Okay? Order of operations. I have to do the multiplication first. 8 times 2 is 16. So I have 30 equals 128 minus 16. I'm rewriting after every step. So now 128 minus 16 is 112. 130 is not the same as 112. Which means that this equation is false, and it means that that set is not a solution. So when you're given an equation with 2 variables, your first thing that you're going to have to figure out is what the independent variable is and the dependent variable. The independent variable is what can be controlled. I can control how many cups of milk I pour. The dependent variable is the thing that is totally going to depend on how many cups of milk I pour. The independent variable is always x, the first part of an ordered pair. The dependent variable, maybe that's good for me to write. So in blank, comma, blank, it's always this one. The dependent variable is always y. It's always the second one. So the reason we're doing this unit right on the back of our coordinate plane unit is because we are going to now move into the point of graphing 2 variable equations. I don't want you to worry about that yet, but that's why we're using this format. Okay? So once I have my independent and dependent, somebody is going to give me a set of numbers to try. And I just have to know where each number goes. Now, you're saying, just Miss Funk, that's a lot of stuff to remember. It is. It's kind of huge. So we'll work through this together, but this is where we're stopping for today.